Hello and welcome to PlayStation Racer. My name is Mitchell Morgan and today we've got an interesting video. When I saw that Brands Hatch was the Daily Race C with the GR4 cars, my heart absolutely sank. I've never managed to hook it up around this track. I've never managed to have a good race. And my nephew and Kushti, that is just around the corner from me, they are awesome on this track and it always makes me try a little bit too hard. And it's never ever happened until this evening. With the help of everybody on my live stream, and I can't thank them enough, we managed to have two races and get both a second and a first, this one being the first. So we're lining up with an Alpha 4C in front, which is great on tyres, with a bunch of Supras behind that are super quick. And watch out for that McLaren, which I think was in 6th place, because he's going to play a big part in this one towards the end of the race. So here we go. We are lining up in 2nd place in the Ferrari 458. As you can see, it's not necessarily the car of choice around here. And as we just come down to start the lap, you can see that that beautiful Alpha is in front. That is going to be the first car that we are going to need to try and deal with. And my strategy here is to stay with the leaders, look after the tyres, not pit, and see if we can bring this home on a podium. So it's all going to be about saving the tyres. Tyre wear is huge in this race. The Supras are likely to burn out their tyres. I'm not sure about the McLaren, but as we get away from the line, one of the Supras just dies on the line. We dive up the inside of the Alpha into the first corner. He tries to have a go. We hold our line. That upsets the line of the Alpha a little bit, which gives us just a little bit of a margin. And then as we go into this tight right-hander, we've got that move made down the hill and we're leading this race. Now this is the start from the Alpha's point of view. Taking quite a nice line. You can see there already I'm thinking, okay, it's going to go defensive into the first corner. But then he drifts out to the left to take that line, and that gives me the middle of the track. I get the Ferrari up the inside, a slight dab of the brakes as we go into that corner just to settle down the car as I've gone into a slight angle. That upsets the Alpha a little bit. I wasn't brake checking him, it was basically just to try and get that slowed down. But it did put him off his guard and we got that move made. So this is back with me now in the Ferrari 458. This is one of the corners that's most important. You want to go slightly deep on this one. 3rd gear, get up and over that curb and then get on the power as soon as you can down this long straight. This is where you can really get into trouble with the Supras. They are very quick down here and they can come past you. But for now, I am heading up a huge long train of cars and I'm just trying to pick out my braking points, my turning points. So board number 1, get it up over the curb there. Just trying to carry as much speed as you can. As we come through this corner, this is a little bit unsighted, this one, so look in the number 1 board right over the curb, get it over to the right, looking for the 1 board again, down into 3rd and across this curb. This is one of my better corners and I managed just to put a little bit of distance between myself and the cars behind into that corner. Slowing it down for this one, and as soon as you get the straight bits of curb there, you can get back on the power, staying over to the left hand side as we cross the line to finish the first lap. And that is my first lap of this race running in the lead. Now all we've got to do is just try and keep it together. So again, I'll remind you, the order of the day is to manage the tyres, and you can already see that we've got a couple of Supras that have come through. There's also a yellow Megane that's in the mix in there as well. That's going to give us some grief a little bit later, and I think we've actually got a McLaren now in 3rd place that has come through. So lots and lots of positions being changed at the back. Yes, you can see there I've got the Supra right on my tail here. I've got the McLaren as well. Decide to let the Supra go. The Supra is quicker than me. I didn't want to fight him and find that we drew the rest of the pack into this little group at the head. So I let the Supra go and I thought, right, I'm going to get right on his back bumper and I'm going to try and stay with him, using him like a ghost car and try and stay with him as much as possible. But I'm minded that that McLaren is quick behind as well. And I'm thinking, do I let the McLaren through as well? Do I just try and keep in there and stay with the Supra? But the McLaren makes the move. It puts it up the inside, a little bang of the doors. The door was potentially open. He's gone through. Neither of us went off. So quite happy with that one. And then we just try and tuck in behind the McLaren and just see if we can stay with these cars. And that is the strategy for the moment, is just to see if we can firstly save the tyres, which are looking great at the end of lap number 2 as we go into lap number 3, but save the tyres and also just try and stay with these cars. I didn't want to hassle the McLaren too much. I wanted the McLaren to get back onto the back of the Supra and pull me along with him so that the three of us could get a little bit of a break from the cars behind. Unfortunately, the Megane was pretty quick, and I was watching him in my mirrors as well, but also just trying to push on here. Now, all the time, I'm minded that this is my nemesis of a track. I always have trouble here. I've always considered it my nemesis, and I really wanted to break that feeling. I wanted to have a good race. I wanted to build on the second place that we just had. Now, in letting those two faster cars through, not only was I hoping to try and stay with them and help them, or use them to help me to get further up the order, I was also of the assumption and hoping that both of these cars, or at least the Supra, was going to pit. So at this point I'm thinking maybe second place even is on here. Second place could be achievable. It would be lovely to get a win. A podium would be great anyway. I'd be quite happy with a podium. But if we could get second, that would be awesome. So for now, it's just steady as you go. Really just pushing on, watching every single braking point, turning points, a second gear through here as we head off down the hill. Oh, the McLaren has gone wide. He's got dirty tyres now. I nearly went wide as well, but that McLaren's got dirty tyres. That's given me a small opportunity to close up as he cleans up his tyres. He's probably got clean tyres now as we head into this left-hander, but that did give me an opportunity to close up a little bit. It gave the Supra the opportunity to pull away a little bit as well, but that didn't really seem to happen. It still seems to be pretty even Stevens at the moment. There's a bit of a gap, but we're pretty well spaced at the moment. So here I am throwing caution to the wind a little bit, leaning on the tyres a little bit more, just trying to close up to the McLaren. And I'm thinking if I can make him make some mistakes, and we've made him make a mistake, he's got a half-second penalty, but unfortunately we followed that line and we picked up a half-second penalty as well. So it's going to be even Stevens on that one as we head into this last part of the lap. So we've both got penalties to serve. I've served mine, which has let Casper in the Supra through. It's let the Megane right onto my wing here, and you can see he's just having a little bit of a nibble to see if he can actually get through. I kept my foot in through there, managed to keep him behind us, and I can't believe that I did it, but we managed to keep the Supra behind us as well. So as we go into this really tight right-hander, we've managed somehow to keep third place. Adrenaline is pumping right now, but we've managed to keep those two behind. I'm pushing on really hard now, and you can see I do get up onto the curb there a little bit too much. That is not going to help us very much, but the cars behind are squabbling. We've still got Casper and 1-2 Cringe, I think it is, behind us. They're pushing really, really hard. So we have got to keep on it at the moment. My main focus though, rather than looking in the rearview mirror, was to just run my lines and to try and catch up with the two cars in front. You can see in this view how close this is between the three of us. The Supra weaving around all over the place, trying to find a way through. But I decided that Brands Hatch is difficult enough to overtake on anyway. So stick to my lines, stick to the braking points, and just make it difficult for the two cars to find their way through. I felt that the Megane was sitting back and just waiting for the Supra to find a space, and then they were probably going to dive up. But I get a reprieve. The Supra dives into the pits. Annoyingly, the McLaren and the Supra ahead are still running. They haven't pitted, which was a real surprise. We're about halfway through the race at this point. So the Supra is ahead. The McLaren has got a good space on us, and then the Megane is my worry. That Renault Megane was really quick and chasing me down all of the time, closing up all of the time, having slightly better lines, but I wasn't sure about the Megane's tyres. I didn't know how much of his tyres were using, and I was minded that I still needed to be careful of my tyres and not to overdo it, especially at this midway through the race. I really didn't want to burn all of my tyres out. I was leaning on them more than I was in the first race, trying not to slide it through these corners too much. But you can see here that we are just managing to close up a little bit on the McLaren in front. Maybe the McLaren's tyres are going away a little bit, but also trying to maintain the gap to the Megane behind. Really enjoying these shots of what I refer to as the fan view. Really enjoying this race no end. Ferrari looks beautiful. It looks really well planted. It's not moving around. As we come across the line, we're going to jump forward now to lap number 9. Everything's sort of settled down. I managed to get a little bit of distance to the Megane. I think their tyres might have started to go off. They might even have pitted. So at this stage, we're just coming across the line to start lap number 10. We've got the McLaren still in front of us. We've got the Supra out in front. And you can see that those guys have really pushed on as my tyres have started to wear. And I've started to back off just a little bit. You can see that the left-hand side tyres are really badly worn. I can lean on these left-hand corners, but the right-hand corners I was having to be really careful. And this Ferrari was starting to slide, and unfortunately the more it was sliding, the more I was minded that I was taking more and more out of the tyres. So at this stage, I'd actually decided to settle for 3rd place. Casper in 4th was quite a fair way behind and in a battle of their own. So I really just wanted to continue just to occupy this space. I think we had about a 7-second gap to the car behind, and we had about a 7-second gap to the car in front. So it was pretty even, the spacing, and you can pretty much see that on the map graphic on the screen, that we're in this nice little clean pocket of air. But as we come around to finish lap number 10, even though I am saving my tyres at this point and they're really starting to go off, suddenly it looks like we're catching the 2 cars in front. Have their tyres gone off? Have they started to experience some problems? Is this going to give me the opportunity to close up? Wow, they've gone off! They've gone off! The 2 of them have gone off. Thankfully the McLaren ghosted as I went through. I was banking on him ghosting, but wow, he's gone through. This is it from the McLaren's point of view. What happened? So we're going into this corner quite nicely. The Supra gets it all out of shape. It takes the McLaren off. Oh, I feel so sorry for the McLaren. And then I just went through. The Supra's tyres had gone. The Supra needed to pit. The Supra didn't. He got it wrong. He got it all out of shape into that corner. Collected the McLaren. Unfortunately, the McLaren couldn't back out of it. And we managed to keep it clean. And we managed to get through there. There's another view. You can just see the McLaren was just too close. A fraction of a second away. And I think that McLaren would have made the corner. I feel so sorry for the McLaren. That should have been a race win for the McLaren, but unfortunately this is racing, and Luda, or Lude, however you pronounce that name, my heart goes out to you, mate. But I got through, and at this point now it was a case of just continuing to push. I was very much aware that McLaren driver would have been fuming, and you can see he's got it up onto the grass through there, some more dirty tyres. The Supra behind as well, so both of those 2 are desperate to get onto the back of my Ferrari. but you can see there that we got a reasonable gap, and really now it's just a case of me needing to bring this one home. If we can bring this home, this is a gifted win. Really, I should have been in third place. Well, really, the Supra should have come in for a pit stop. I think its tyres must have been completely shot, and that was what caused that problem, because those two cars have been really clean all the way through. But you'll see the McLaren, as he's trying to chase me down, he's still finding the grass in places. I think the tyres are shot on that McLaren as well, whereas my tyres were still pretty okay. I mean, they were pretty worn, but still plenty of grip. And I think now we come across, there's the checkered flag, we come across the line. Like I said, I felt sorry for the McLaren, but that's racing, and we kept it clean. We looked after the tyres, we just managed it all the way through the race, and we got a race win. My first race win at Brands Hatch. Adrenaline was pumping, loved that one. If you loved that one, please, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're already a subscriber, thanks ever so much for following along. I hope you enjoyed this one. Wow, I'm out of breath even watching the replay. So I'm going to leave it there, and hopefully I will see you on another daily race live stream. I live stream between 9:30 onwards in the evening UK time. It'd be great to see you there, but for now, take care. Bye bye.